So we're going to get ready to install the AC. So first thing I had to do is find a hole saw to drill my hole so I can fit my inlet, which is going to take about 1 7/8 inches. So that'll fit just right. And then into that I traded in my flat wire. We're going to go ahead and go with the 12-2. We're going to use the round cord. So that should be a little bit easier to work with. It's a little more flexible, and I think that's going to work fine. So the first step is I have my drill ready. We are going to punch a hole in the side of the trailer. I've got a spot marked out here. I think I'll put some tape over it and get ready to drill a hole, and then we'll go inside the trailer and make sure that hole is where I want it to be before I actually drill a big hole. So hang on. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and drill a pilot hole, go inside and take a look and make sure it's in our spot where we want our inlet to come in. Alright, let's go inside and see if it's in our right spot. Well, this is our hole, so it's going to come in right there. I wouldn't mind having over about another inch, and that way when I run my cable it can just go up and over. I think that's not too bad. Yeah, I think I'll move it over about 1 inch, and then we'll drill our hole. Alright, we have our pilot hole drilled, and now we're ready to drill our major hole. Let's go ahead and pick that out of there, and then we'll continue finishing. Now what we'll do is we'll go on the inside and finish drilling through. Because if you continue on this way, what will happen when you punch through it, it's just going to splinter the wood. So let me go inside, punch a hole through this way, and we're holy. All right. So we're all the way through. Go ahead and remove our tape. Nice clean hole. Alright. Now we can take our inlet and make sure it fits. Oh yeah, just like that. Be on the outside of the trailer, just like so. Bang. Let's see what it looks like inside. So that's what it's going to look like on the inside. We have a rubber boot that goes over this, and wire come through, and then we'll run it straight over, and we'll just continue along the edge here and punch a hole right here, go inside and install our box. So next step is to measure out our cable, our wiring, and get the right length and a little extra, and then we can tie all this in. Cool. Stay tuned. So I cut a length of cable about 4 feet long, and I'm going to go ahead and make the connection into my inlet, and then we can put our little rubber boot over the top. I'll probably have to soap up the cord a little bit to slide that on there and make it nice and tight. So we're going to go ahead and install these. They're color coded, pretty nice. So you have the green, the black, and the white. So even I can do this, I guess. So get that in there. Tighten that down. Okay. Install the black. And then the white. Twist the end a little bit. Put that in there. Oh yeah. I think we have a pretty good connection. Everything seems to be really tight. Now we just slide the boot over top here. There. Yep. So we're gonna have to lube that up a little bit. Might spray a little WD-40 on that and then slide it on. Cover that up, and then we can install that onto the trailer. So I think that's gonna work pretty good. And yes, that did the trick. So I took a little bit of WD-40, sprayed in the hole of the boot, slid that over the end of the cable right here, and slid it all the way over to the inlet, and that worked fine. So now we are ready to install the inlet onto the side of the trailer, and hopefully we got enough length of the wire to make it to the box. If I measured correctly, I should have plenty left over. Alright, let's get it installed onto the trailer. So I put a little bit of butyl tape underneath, and we'll go ahead and fasten this on, squish out some butyl tape, and then we'll trim it. And then later on we'll put a bead of silicone around there just to make sure that we've got everything covered and sealed with any luck, huh? Okay. And get our third one in there. Is installed. So now what we can do is go around and trim our butyl tape, and it looks sealed. That's the important part. And there we go. So we have it nice and sealed all the way around, and then later on we can put some silicone around here just to make sure that it is sealed, and it works just fine. Alright, now we can install our boxes. Okay, so we came through the trailer, we got our boot on, our wires installed, and now we are running the cable underneath the bench here. We're going to run it all the way along here and come down the side, and I punched a hole here at the bottom and put a grommet, and now my wire is sticking through here, and about right there is where my box is gonna be. So I guessed right, I got just enough wire. So I'll go ahead and get the box installed and get ready to put in my fuse. So we have the first box mounted, and I've got my wires to the next box already installed. Got my wires running through here. I have my grounds tied together and my neutral tied together. Then this is the hot wire. This will go on the top to the fuse, and then this one wire will go to the switch, and the switch will feed the hot wire to the GFCI. So let me get the Bussmann fuse holder installed, and then we will tie in our next box. Okay, so we took the hot wire from the incoming inlet, put that onto the fuse side, tied the ground wire and the neutral wire together. Then we run the hot wire that's going to go to the outlet into the switch side, and now we're ready to install the switch. We'll get that in side by side and wire up the switch, and then I think we are ready for power. We shall see. Or smoke. Okay, so now we have the outlet box installed, wires in, everything's tight. So now we just install the receptacle and put the faceplate on, and we are ready to test. Hopefully we don't burst into flames. Okay, so the receptacle is installed, and on the back it tells you which side is hot and which side is white, and then there's a ground screw on the top for your green wire. So now we put the faceplate on, and I think we can test it out. I do have a fuse in here, and with any luck, we don't we don't blow anything. Let me get that closed. There we go. Nice. I'm sure you appreciated that. Okay. So let me get the faceplate on here, and then we are ready to do some testing. I still want to run a power strip over here so I can plug in my appliances, because I don't think my cords are long enough to reach all the way from inside here, over and under, and all through the woods and all that good stuff. So anyway, let's put the faceplate on, give it a test shot, shall we? Hope for the best. So we have the faceplate on, and now we're ready to hook up some power. So I'm going to hook an extension cord to the inlet on the outside. Then I'll come in and throw the switch, and I'm going to plug a lamp in here, and we'll see if we've got any power. We'll also test the receptacle, make sure the GFCI is working, and we'll call that done. All right, hang on. Okay. So we're going from the receptacle of my house into the trailer, plugged in, and nothing went snap yet. So let's jump inside and throw some switches. Okay, so we have our fuse in here, 15 amp. The switch is off, and right now, if I test the GFCI, I have nothing. So if I throw the switch, ooh, hope there's no smoke. Ooh, I saw a light. Now if I test the ground fault, it should reset, or I can test it. Alright, so it's on, and test. Boom, look at that. That means I have power. Okay, so if I plug in my lamp, let's turn the switch off. So I have a lamp right here. With any luck, I'm going to turn the switch on. No smoke. And nothing's hot. And hopefully we have light. You ready? Boom, look at that. It worked. Sometimes I even amaze myself, folks. Okay, so just to recap, we'll start from the beginning, what I did, and come all the way to the lamp, and hopefully you'll be able to find it just as easy. So I have two of these, but this is where I started. So I have a 15 amp 120 volt inlet, and I've got my 12-3 wire. I took and peeled back, peeled back the lining here and snipped off the ends. And let me take this off. A little more difficult than I thought. There's a nice shot of my wall. So anyway, peel the wires back. It's color coded. Green for ground, black for hot, white for neutral. And I slipped this on over the cord, and then made my connections, and then slid this down over top. From there, we installed about 4 feet of wire inside, connected the inlet on the outside with 3 screws, and I put some butyl tape, and then later on I'm going to put some silicone around here and have no worries of leak. Then from there we went inside with the cord, and we put some nice little cable ties up here, and I ran it down and I drilled a hole through the bottom. I think it was a 5/8. I put my grommet. From there, wire came out, and I put it through the bottom of my junction box here into my Cooper Busman, and I tied the hot wire to the fuse side, and then tied the ground and the neutral together. Then this wire on the top, which feeds my outlet, I took the hot wire and put it to the switch. And then from there, on the inside, I went and, of course, on the back of the outlet, will tell you which side is hot, which one is neutral, white and black. And then on the very top of the ground fault is the ground. So you just put those 3 wires together, and then you cross your fingers, plug everything in, and hope you got power. So that's what we did. Back out here. Took our wire, our extension cord, run that all the way around into the trailer. So we have power coming to the trailer. And then we flicked our switch here, which we have power going into the outlet, and the outlet is protected by ground fault, just in case you know, I like to take a bath in here or something and splatter water everywhere. Won't shock myself. Plug my lamp in and turn my lamp on and off. And by George, we have power. That, folks, is my AC. Now, if I want to run an air conditioner, I will have to probably install another one, most likely a 20 or 25 amp, and probably put the outlet over here. The reason being is this is rated for 15 amps, and I'm going to be plugging a refrigerator and a microwave on it, and the microwave is pulling about 7.5 amps. The refrigerator is pulling less than about 1 amp, and an air conditioner, well, I'm going to say it probably pulls about 12 amps. So I'd be overpowering my system if I put 3 units on here. So I'm only going to utilize this for a refrigerator and microwave. Provided I want an air conditioner, then I will install a second one. This is way much easier, and I can plug it into my house. If I used a 20 or 30 amp, I don't have a 20 or 30 amp outlet or box at my house. So I wouldn't even be able to plug it in without installing something new, and I'm not going to do that because, well, it's not my house. So this is the easiest by far that I could think of, and it works just fine. Remember, it's a Cooper Busman fuse block. Takes 15 amp. That's what it'll tell you down here on the bottom, that it is for 15 amps. Don't put a 20 amp in there and thinking that you're going to be able to run more stuff, because you'll end up burning your little house down, and then you'll be homeless. So don't do that. And that is my wiring for today. Plus we also tested. It works. Reset. Bang. And we're in like Flynn. So what do you think about that, huh? that is just really easy. Didn't take as long as I thought it would. Let me move this out of the way here. Man. Dang. Can't tell. Sweet. I like it. That's going to work just fine. Put a power strip up here, run my wires for my refrigerator, microwave, plug it into my power strip, which also has a little ground fault, and I'm probably overprotected at that point, but you can never be overprotected. That's why you carry 2 Smith & Wessons. Bah ha ha ha. So real quick before I wrap this up, I still have to go to the store and buy a safety chain for the trailer to the truck. And believe it or not, auto parts store, hardware stores, convenience store, you name it around this town, they don't have anything. They have chain, they don't have any way to connect it unless you want to use a little twist on blah 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 thing, and I don't want to do that. I want the hooks that snap on, because that's the way my truck is designed, and nothing else will work on it. Go figure, right? But I want to show you something. I had to purchase a tool to kind of help me in my electrical stuff, and man, I got to tell you, this is probably one of the best tools. No, I'm not endorsing, I'm not being paid to say this crap or anything, but right there, it's a DeWalt and it's a gyroscopic technology, yada yada yada. What I'm saying, it's an inline screwdriver, and what made this so handy, one, it's got the light on the front, and I'm working in some tight areas trying to get all my little terminal blocks installed, and they've got small little screws, I've got big hands, and there's no way I could ever get the stupid things on using a screwdriver and the little Phillips screws that they had in this thing. So I found this. I did a little searching online, and I was impressed. And I read a lot of reviews before I purchased it, and most of them pretty much said the same thing. It has no power, it's hard to use, they couldn't figure it out. Well, to that I say, because this thing has a lot of power. I use a lot of pocket holes, and without even pilot hole drilling, I'm going through 3/4 inch pine, white pine, and no pilot hole, and this thing has enough power to torque these things down and still run several days later. Also, the way this thing works is not only do you hold it and then you pull the little trigger right here, but it turns the lights on so you can really see, but as soon as you hold the trigger down and you turn your wrist, it acts like a screwdriver. So whichever way you're turning, that's the way it'll do. And if you turn a little bit, it rotates a little bit. If you turn a lot, it rotates a lot. Go back off, turn it the other way, like that. DeWalt. Dude, this was a lifesaver, because trying to get screws into those little terminals, let me show you what I'm talking about. Try to reach up here and put all these little things in here and use a big drill. I couldn't even get my big drill in here, and try to get all these terminals connected. Tell you what, that would make a preacher come up with some new curse words, and that was difficult. But when I got that inline, all I did is hold it up here. If I can hold the camera up here, hold that up here and turn it, and it went in sweet as a button. So if you're looking for a new tool for your arsenal, tell your wife you need a new one, and go out and get one of these. I think I paid 65, 70 bucks, something like that, and I charged the battery twice since I've owned it, and I've had it for probably 2 weeks now. But like I said, going from these pocket holes, there's 3 on each, well, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 18 screws that I had to go in from here into 3/4 inch wood. Actually an inch because of the plywood here, and it drove them in like it was nobody's business, and still had power left over. So it worked great for the pocket holes, plus going into the ends here like that. and it worked out just great. So anyway, that's my sales pitch for the day. Go get you one if you want one. It works just fine. You'll like it. While you're at it, you might as well buy a Porter cable, because those things are good too. Okay, so that's my sales pitch for the day, and I'm a horrible salesman. That's why I'm not in customer service. I'm a scheduler, so I can tell you how long it's going to take something to do something, and when you're going to be done. Other than that, don't ask me to sell you something, because you might just walk away. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video today, getting the AC installed, and like I said, it didn't take very long. Your biggest worry is punching a hole in your trailer. Like I say, anytime you punch a hole in a trailer, you invite a leak. So you want to make sure that you seal it up properly so you keep the water out. There was 3 rules that I learned when I was building boats. 1, you keep the water out of the boat. 2, you stay in the boat. And 3, keep the boat in the water. So you keep those 3 things in mind when you're poking holes around. You keep the water out, okay? And you'll do just fine. So there we go. AC is installed. Next is probably some lighting under the counter. And I still have a sink to install. I've got some plumbing that I still need to do, and well, I don't have any. I have a sink, but I don't have any of the plumbing or the tanks or anything. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of online searching, find the right deal, the right size, the right quantity, and all that good stuff, and then we'll move forward. So I think my next step is probably going to be the sink, because I'm waiting for a couple more weeks before I pull the trigger on the solar power. The batteries are just going to kill me. A couple of 6-volt batteries are going to run you $300 or $400. So that's pretty rough, and I'm going to have to sleep on that one a few nights. I'm not so worried about the solar, because I know that's going to be a little pricey, but I'm going to have anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 just in solar power, controller, and batteries. Not to mention all the wiring and stuff that you need to hook everything up. So I squeak when I walk. So I'm not cheap. I buy good stuff. I just don't like parting with the money. You know what I'm saying. So anyway, stay tuned. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, and until next time, hope you're working on your project.